YouTube Power Hour Squad. Erika here for an all-new interview for you. This week, I am interviewing Jordan Shrinks. And Jordan's channel is all about showcasing her weight loss journey. And she talks about how she, in one day, grew 50,000 subscribers. A couple of her videos really took off and went viral and essentially changed her life. So Jordan reveals her journey on blowing up on YouTube and where she is today. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification so that you don't miss a single interview. I come up with new interviews every single week, and I do go live here on YouTube once a month. Enjoy the interview. Mwah. Well, hello, Jordan. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm really excited to chat with you about your YouTube and your YouTube journey and all that fun stuff. So before we dive into everything, why don't you just give a brief background on your YouTube journey so far?
Sure. So I started YouTube. My first video was uploaded in December 2016. And I actually uploaded the video because I started garnering my audience on Instagram following losing 130 pounds. So I made that video because I was just getting so many repeat questions that I decided to do kind of like a Q&A. And then that's just kind of honestly where it started. I never really anticipated doing YouTube videos, but I got so much positive feedback that I just started posting more. And then I would say in January 2018, that's when I started actually taking it seriously.
So you had a pretty decent following on Instagram before hopping onto YouTube.
Yes, I did.
So did you start your Instagram account because you wanted to document your weight loss journey, or was that the reason behind kind of getting onto social media in the first place?
Yeah, it was. I wanted a place where I could document it that wasn't accessible by my friends and family, because I was a little embarrassed at first when I wanted to lose weight. So I started the account. I didn't tell anyone about it, and then just over time I started getting followers just because I got reposted a lot on transformation pages and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I did have a pretty big Instagram following before I uploaded to YouTube.
Got it. But then when you uploaded onto YouTube, so I kind of went through your timeline to kind of see your whole journey, and you had some really virally videos on YouTube.
Yeah, even my first video, I remember posting it.
I have your, can you see my screen here?
Oh, yep, I can.
Okay, so for those of you guys, because I have the podcast on iTunes, but I am here on YouTube, so come to YouTube because I have some visuals here, and we're going to kind of take a look at some of Jordan's videos. So which is one of the first ones? You said your first one?
Yep, so the first one is the second one there, so how I lost 100 pounds in 6 months.
Oh my God, that's insane. So the first video that you uploaded onto YouTube went viral.
Yeah, so I remember in the first couple days, I would say the first week, it hit 500,000 views.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I remember just thinking, I was so naive. I was like, wow, YouTube's so easy.
Yeah.
This video went viral. Obviously, I grew to learn that wasn't the case, but I think it was just so much traffic coming from my Instagram, it kind of just got pushed out to more viewers.
So it sounds like your Instagram was almost hungry for this knowledge from you, because it isn't super yes, some people were able to transfer their audience from another platform to another platform, Instagram to YouTube, but it is a little harder, I think, than people really think. I hear from a lot of people on Instagram saying it's hard to transfer people over to a different platform. But it sounds like your audience was kind of wanting that from you, or ready for that.
Yeah, I think they were really excited to just hear my answers more in depth, because this was at a time where I think Instagram stories were super new. So there wasn't really a platform for me to openly talk about my experiences. But with, like you said, what other people are saying, I would say there's a huge chunk of people who actually haven't followed me to YouTube, because I'll run into people all the time and they say they follow me on Instagram, and I'll bring up YouTube and they don't even know I make videos. So yeah, I would say there's definitely still a divide, but definitely the vast majority are now aware of my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and so let's see, at this point you now have 3, so you have you said how many followers do you have on Instagram? About
I think it's 315,000.
So, oh my gosh, you have almost the exact same.
Yeah.
On your YouTube now.
I just recently passed my Instagram on YouTube, and I was really excited because YouTube, in my opinion, just takes a lot more work than Instagram. All the editing, the ideas, everything. So I was really excited.
Yeah. So that must have been crazy. So the first video you put up, and I show here, I'm like, it's like August 20. No, was that?
I think it was December. Yeah.
December of 2016.
Yeah.
Right? That's the first video that you went up and it went viral at 1.7 million subscribers. So let's go back to that time. So you upload this video, you're kind of, from what it seems like, were you looking like, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, I'm going to be consistent, okay, I'm going to put up this video, or were you thinking, do you know what, I need a place for me to chat a little bit more, so I'm just going to put this YouTube video up? What was kind of your mentality there?
For sure. When I first uploaded it, I had no intentions of consistently uploading YouTube videos.
Okay.
It was just, I got so many repeat questions, and instead of me answering it over and over, I just wanted to put the YouTube link in my bio of Instagram.
Yeah.
Just to kind of direct people to that. But then, not too long later, I uploaded my loose skin video, which was in the preview of what you were showing of my channel. And that's my most viewed video.
That one.
And yeah. And that's kind of when I got really excited about the possibility of continuing on YouTube.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, though, kind of like dissecting this, why do you think, I mean, you said your first video you think went viral because you had a lot of people from your Instagram, but still, though, at the time you only had, what, 200-something thousand on your Instagram?
Yeah, I think it was like 120,000.
Okay, 120,000. And this video has now, obviously, I'm sure it's kind of grown over time, but you said in the first week it had 500,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely not just your Instagram following. There's a lot more people.
Yeah, for sure.
So, why, I'm sure maybe you've thought about it in retrospect, why do you think this video in particular did so well on YouTube?
I think most of my videos that have to do with my actual transformation tend to do better because I just think people are looking to kind of replicate the progress that I've made. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm very aware of the shock value of my transformation, and I know that kind of draws people in. Also, my first video I uploaded in December, and that's just a very popular time for people to be looking into these types of things because January is coming, and that's kind of when people are really excited to start the year off more healthy.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that kind of contributed it to a bit. But I would definitely say just like the shock value and people wanting to replicate what I said I've achieved.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, when you look, I mean, 130 pounds lost, that's a lot of weight, you know?
Yeah.
And, so like the thumbnail, you know, it's like, oh, okay. And how I lost 100 pounds in 6 months, I think that's, like you said, it's very attention grabbing. And,
yes.
And YouTube really is about that. I'm sure you've learned that over time being on YouTube. It's that thumbnail and title are key.
Yes.
And so then, let's see, you have this second video that went viral, and you uploaded it in August. So, like about six months or so, 6 or 7 months after this first video, you had the second video, and this one went like, I mean, crazy viral. 5.6 million views. I mean, what were you thinking when that happened? And here's a clip for...
Honest?
For
yeah, go ahead.
For this, here's a clip for those of you guys, you know, watching it. You can kind of see what she does in the video.
For this video, I remember it going viral, and I was in complete shock because this is actually something I was really scared to upload just because it was I just felt super vulnerable uploading it.
Yeah.
And I remember being in complete awe and like refreshing every 20 minutes and just seeing it go up like 100,000 views every time. Yeah. And I remember my mom was refreshing it. Like everyone was just refreshing it because we didn't know what was happening. I think a big part of that one was the thumbnail. Just reading through the comments, a lot of people thought the thumbnail was fake. And they had to click it just to see, with me pulling my skin. And they wanted to click it just to see if my skin was actually like that.
Okay. I see. So, like, right here, the skin right here on your stomach?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it is. I mean, the thumbnail really is. And I think, you know, my loose skin after losing 130 pounds. So, when you first uploaded it, You said right away I had how many views?
Well, like I would say like the first hour was pretty regular, like
Yeah.
for what I was expecting. Because when I uploaded this video, I had like 30,000 subscribers, I think.
Okay.
So it was slow growing, and then over the next few hours, it just started like 100,000 views an hour. So
Oh my God.
I don't know. I didn't know much about YouTube at that time, so I don't know if it was trending or what was really happening. Um, but I just remember watching it like explode.
That's insane. Like, what was going through your mind at that point when you have this video? You had 30,000 subscribers, and then you're getting 100,000 views an hour. You said views an hour.
It was like every 20 minutes, yeah. Yeah, and it was crazy. I was really excited, of course. But then unfortunately, I would say like 10 hours into it, I got that notification from YouTube saying, you know, it was demonetized because they thought it was inappropriate. And then after that, it was actually age restricted. So that really stunted growth. Yeah. And I went back and forth with YouTube a lot on that because I didn't think it was fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, I lost the battle. So
Really? So what were the reasons for demonetizing and making it age restricted? Just because you showed your stomach, or what were the reasons?
Yeah, so they basically gave the excuse they always give, which it wasn't advertiser friendly. And I was talking to a person, like not just an automated system. And I kind of pointed out that like, had it been a man, I don't think I would have been treated the same way. Or like people have their shirts off all the time in YouTube videos. And I didn't show anything really like scandalous at all. It was my stomach, and that's basically it. And I actually got it reversed for about maybe like a few hours, and then it was demonetized again. So I thought I won, but I didn't. But
oh my God! So when it got demonetized the second time, did you talk to the first person that you talked to? Like, hey buddy, like,
yeah,
what happened here?
But they kind of ghosted me. I think they were sick of me.
Oh my God! Yeah. That I mean, like, yeah, you hear about people get demonetized because it's not advertiser friendly, but you really like. I watched that video and I even showed just a clip of it just now. You were just in your sports bra. I mean, you were showing the point of the video, which was to show your loose skin.
And that was kind of my argument, was like it was completely educational.
Yeah.
And after I kind of got over the fact that they demonetized at like 900,000 views, so I really missed out on a lot of revenue from it. But the thing that really bothered me was they age restricted it because it was completely educational, and I didn't think it was necessary to age restrict it. And a lot of my audience is younger than 18, so I really wanted to have that resource out for them to kind of like, because the whole point of the video was to help people feel more confident, because loose skin is a very real reality for a lot of people who undergo massive weight loss. So it did kind of upset me that like it wouldn't be pushed out, and then when it's age restricted, it's not really put in recommended either. So it basically killed the growth of the video.
I mean, the video's at 5.6 million views. So did this? Well, at what point in the video growth did this all happen with the demonetization and in the age restriction?
Yeah, that video's been up for a bit over 2 years now, and I think it was age restricted at 5.5 million. So it really stunted the growth, because it did 5.5 million in like a week, and then in the last 2 years, it's like 100,000.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, I can imagine like what it took for you to upload that video.
Yeah.
Like, how are you feeling, like, before it went viral, but how are you feeling in like this idea of like, okay, I'm going to really expose something very vulnerable, I'm going to create a video about this? Like, what was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, I was definitely super nervous about it, because it was something I had never shown, like, at all, even on Instagram, because I was just super self-conscious about it. But I kind of reached the point where I realized that not a lot of people who had undergone massive weight loss, at least on Instagram, were sharing the realities of the loose skin that comes with it. So I just figured I would make a video, because like I said, there weren't really stories or anything for me to share that content. I was getting a lot of questions, a lot of people who were feeling super down about their loose skin, and I knew, being somewhat at that time of a public figure, that I could help those people by showing that I deal with it too. So yeah, it was definitely super nerve-wracking, but it was very rewarding after it went up and I started reading all the comments.
Yeah, so that's probably why it was a little bit of a blow when they age restricted it, because you're like, part of the whole point of me doing this was to help people to share this reality, of all ages.
Exactly.
And now you can't do that.
Exactly.
That's a bummer. Have any of your other videos been like age restricted?
Yeah, so on the topic of the loose skin video, I actually ended up having a lot of my loose skin removed. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually uploading a video on it today, so it's funny, but I've been uploading a lot of videos kind of showing progress in terms of like my scarring and kind of going over like the cost, my experience, everything like that. So all of those have basically been age restricted just because I can kind of understand this one a bit more because I am showing a lot of like my breast because I'm showing scarring. But other than that, I've been pretty lucky in terms of keeping things monetized.
Yeah. I mean that. And at what point was that video demonetized? The one with 5 million views.
I would say it was demonetized the first day, and then I did that back and forth a bit when I got it remonetized.
Oh my God.
And then they re-demonetized it, and then they age restricted it about a week in, and then the growth just completely
done.
Yeah.
So what about though your subscriber count? What happened to your subscriber count when that video?
Yeah. So that was crazy too. Like I said, I had around I think 30,000, and then within the week I was well over 100,000 subscribers.
So we have like here. Do you ever look at Social Blade?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can see here like a visual of like when all this happened. And it looks like, what are these? Your total subscribers. So here, right?
Yeah, that huge.
Right here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's insane. So you went from like 24,000 and then you can see here, August 9th and August 17th. I don't know what date you uploaded that video, but around that time, and then boom, there you go. Like, so you grew 100,000 subscribers in like a week.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's insane. And you said at that point was when you started to get excited about YouTube.
Yes, it was a bit difficult at the time because I was a student. I was in a master's program, so I couldn't really prioritize YouTube at that time. But it got me really excited about it. But still, I would say it was another 4 months until January 2018 that I actually decided that I was going to try and upload consistently. And I started a bit rough. It wasn't as consistent as I wanted, but I've definitely got the hold of it now. So
what were you studying at the time?
It was actually my second master's degree. So it was in political management.
Oh.
What's
your first master's?
My first master's was also in like politics, but it was conflict politics. So I studied a lot of it was basically the relationship between gender and terrorism.
Oh wow.
So I was looking at a lot of that stuff, yeah.
Wow. So are you working in that field now and doing your YouTube, or like what's your life like?
I'm very lucky because I work completely online, which is something I never really envisioned. I worked in government for an internship before getting my loose skin removed.
Okay.
I didn't really enjoy it, but I do research now.
Okay. So you work in that field, obviously. You got all that education.
Yes.
You work in that field. And so where does like YouTube fit in with your whole life, given that you had this kind of plan and you had like a great education, 2 master's degree, and now you have this pretty successful YouTube channel with 300 something thousand subscribers, and in your Instagram, where does all that fit in everywhere?
It's definitely been challenging to kind of balance everything. I kind of got into a stage where I was super I would say like anxious about my upload schedule, just making sure I hit certain times every day, or my days for uploading. And then I had a chat with my boyfriend Zach, who also is on Instagram. Like, he is a public figure as well, and he kind of reminded me that like I'm the only one who's kind of holding me to these like really strict standards. So since then it's been a lot easier to manage everything, because I notice that no one really knows or notices when there's a skipped upload or it's like a day late.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just me completely on myself, kind of holding me to those standards. So since then, it's been a lot easier. I basically do it when I have time. I always aim for at least one video a week.
Okay.
Which I've recently started vlogging, so it's a lot easier because I just vlog what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy vlogging because I get to show kind of healthy living just through how I live day to day, opposed to just sitting in front of the camera and talking, because that's kind of how a lot of my first videos were, just more educational and informative. But yeah, so it's taken a lot to get used to, but over time I've definitely been able to balance everything.
Yeah. And so are you finding that your vlogs type of videos are doing as well as, the other videos you were doing before?
Yep. I was actually super surprised because my vlogs a lot of the time do better. But I had to be very strategic in how I introduce vlogs to my channel, because a lot of the time, switching the content of your channel can go very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
People are there for a reason, and if you drastically change, like, they often leave. Mm-hmm. So my vlogs are still very focused on like what I'm eating, like the exercise I'm doing, what I'm doing day to day. So in the title, I make sure to say like in this vlog, like I have a grocery haul, I have a workout. So they definitely do well. They do just as well as my other videos, but it's because it's very strategic. I don't think I actually uploaded one vlog about a month ago where I didn't put anything with fitness or anything in the title, just to see if it would do well. And it's actually my worst performing video. So I definitely know what people want to see. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up. We can take a look at it. So this is like answering questions, 6 must-know tips to get back on track. Is that more of a sitting down video than a vlog? Okay.
It's a vlog too, yeah. But
it's a vlog too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this it? Oopsie. Let me see if you could see it. I don't know why. Is it the we made a mistake one?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
I know, and I can't move it over for some reason so you can see it. It's a little bit tricky. Do what I can do? I know. I can make the window a little bit smaller. That one. This we made a mistake one?
Yes.
Okay. So you purposely tested it out and decided I'm going to not mention anything in the title and thumbnail about weight loss, health, nutrition, all that stuff.
Exactly, because titles and thumbnails, it's unfortunate, but I find that to be probably the most stressful part about YouTube. Because you can have a phenomenal video, something you're super proud of, and if it's not titled right or it doesn't have the right thumbnail, it could flop. So this was just a vlog with me and my boyfriend, and I kind of went the route of being more like, ooh, like what would the mistake be? Like kind of like the clickbait route to like for people to find out, but it just didn't really perform well on my channel. So now I know, that's not gonna work, which was fine. It was an experiment, but
because that one got 23,000 views, and the next one, which it looks like it's a vlog, which is a full day of eating, that got twice as many views.
Yes.
Yeah. So most of them are like how I work out, this intimacy. The way I watched that one, that was like a sit down with your boyfriend.
Yes, it was.
Okay. But a lot of these other ones, mini athletic haul, what we ate in a day, those are all vlogs.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
They're vlogs, just very strategically named.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, it's so true. And I think that's actually a really interesting way of like putting it. And I think it's true. Like what you're saying is like the most stressful part of YouTube is the title and thumbnail. Because it's like, you have to, I don't want to say be clickbaity, but you have to look at your title and your thumbnail as bait to get people to want to watch your video.
Yes, and I'm someone who I really feel uncomfortable with over clickbaiting. Like you'll see, I've never done it. Like my titles literally say what's in the video, like my new workout routine, my grocery haul, and that is literally what's in the video. So I tried the clickbait because I know a lot of people are very successful with it, like big vloggers and stuff, but it doesn't work. Like not everything works for every channel. And I think that's important to note as well, because my videos were doing fine before I tried, the experiment. So I just wanted to see if it would make it better, and it didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's a really interesting point about that. Um, and so, okay, so what inspired you then to really take your, it sounded like you said you didn't really take your channel really, really seriously or want to be consistent until about 6 months after that second viral video, right? So what was going on then at the end of, I think you said was it the end of 2016?
2017.
2017. So at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018 is when you said, okay, this is it for me. What was going on then?
Yeah, so I think it was, well, at the end of 2017, I had my loose skin removal surgery. So I was out. Like, I couldn't work, I couldn't exercise. There was a lot I couldn't really do. And it gave me a lot of time to kind of reflect on my, internet presence and where I want to take it. And I kind of knew that if I wanted to grow my platforms, I would have to kind of branch off into YouTube. But I would say mostly, like, I've always been someone who likes to be creative. And it was really the only creative outlet I had, especially since I studied something that is just so uncreative, like politics. It's like not a creative discipline. So I just really wanted that outlet, and I really wanted to take the opportunity to help people, because at that time there were a few pretty big like weight loss influencers, but none of them were female. So I kind of wanted to, I guess, fill in that space. And luckily now we have a lot more people on YouTube talking about issues and stuff, but at that time it was pretty male dominated.
Well, I mean, that instinct is right, because obviously people were very interested in that transformation and that journey. Otherwise you wouldn't have grown 100,000 subscribers in
exactly
like, I don't know, a week or something, or I don't know how, it was very short. So that's, I mean, that's amazing. So at this point then you do your YouTube channel, but you try and do it once a week, but you're not held to like a strict schedule, mainly because you also work another job.
Yeah, so I definitely try to hit it once a week. Sometimes it's easier than others because I currently live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and none of my friends in Toronto are, in the internet scene. So it's harder for me to vlog when I'm alone because they're just not as interesting. And most of my friends are in politics, so it's not really, they're not really into like being public on the internet. But when I'm with my boyfriend in Southern California, that's kind of the hub of where all weight loss people live. So when I'm there, it's a lot easier for me to vlog because I'm always hanging out with them and everything. But if I hit once a week, I'm happy. If I hit twice a week, that's just phenomenal.
That's interesting. And so when you're coming up with your video topics, is it really more about kind of your schedule, what you can do if you're with your boyfriend or whatever? Or do you pay attention to things like keywords, SEO, all that kind of stuff?
I do slightly, not a lot. There are just a lot of seasons that I know are very beneficial for like healthy living content. Obviously, like I said, December, January is a very big time for people, looking up, how to lose weight. Last year in August, I did back to school, like how to be healthy for back to school, because as a student, like I did university for 6 years. So I wanted to kind of talk about how I balance my healthy living with my schoolwork. So I did that because I knew that would be a popular search term for kids going back to school. Other than that, I would say my content is highly dictated by like what I haven't done in a while. Sometimes I'll crowdsource. I'll ask my Instagram audience like what they want to see. And then I would say the last indicator of what the video will be about is if it's sponsored. If it's like I'm sponsored by something that's super easy to integrate into a food video, I'll do a food video. Or if it's integratable in like a Q&A, like that'll kind of dictate as well.
Got it. When did you start working with sponsors, or when did they start reaching out to you?
I think my first sponsor was, I actually think it was this year, at the beginning of this year. Yeah, so I went a while without making any money through Instagram, because Instagram is really not as monetizable as YouTube. But I would say my first one, I think it was the beginning of this year, and I was just, oh no, I'm lying. It was last December.
Okay.
I was just so excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, wow.
After all that work and effort, it's like, oh, I'm getting paid. I mean, you get AdSense, but it's not.
Of course.
Especially if you're getting demonetized left and right, you're just like, oh god,
Yeah. Although I will say, like for YouTube, and I'm sure anyone who is on YouTube knows that different values are based on kind of the content you put out, and healthy living and fitness and weight loss content is the most monetizable a lot of the time, because people who are looking for advice on like how to lose weight, for example, are usually willing to spend money to do it. And that's how they view it. So a lot of the time I actually get really frustrated about the ads that are chosen to go on my video, because I don't really have a say in that.
Yeah.
But I'll have a video on binge eating, for example, because that's something I openly talk about, is like my struggle with binge eating. And my ad will be Burger King. And it's because they know.
Oh my god. Yeah.
They know that people who are going to a video to talk about like their fast food addiction, they're going to put their ad on,
Yeah.
So
yeah. Yeah, I know. You're like, oh god, you're watching your video like, oh god, that's not the advertiser I would pick for my video on.
I know. And that's what my comments say a lot of the time. They're like, the advertiser was McDonald's. And I think a lot of the time people think I choose them.
Oh.
Because sometimes the comments are like, why is there a McDonald's ad on a video about like how to eat healthy at fast food restaurants? And I'm like, well, I didn't put it there.
Yeah,
so.
You don't pick it. You have no choice in the matter. You have no choice on who can advertise. So how did that first sponsorship come about? Did they reach out to you? Did they email you? How did that happen?
Yes, so they emailed me, and they offered me the rate, which at that time, since I hadn't done any sponsorships, was pretty low.
Yeah.
But I'd never done one, so I was kind of like, okay, like that amount of money for like 60 seconds or whatever they wanted. But it was a fitness app, which was super easy to integrate in my content. So I was super excited about that. And then it ended up doing so well. They came back and we've done a whole contract through 2019, but, it was definitely a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
It's usually mostly a pleasant experience. And I'm not sure if anyone's talked about this on your podcast, just the time it takes to get paid by sponsors and everything it's like 90 days.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not like an instant, you get paid. It's definitely a delay. So for people who they're completely relying on this as their sole income, I can definitely imagine it being stressful at times.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but I mean.
I hope that you asked for more money if the video did really, really well and then they came back and wanted to work with you again.
Yeah, I find that some sponsors are amazing and you don't even have to ask. They'll just offer it. And then there are other sponsors who, like, deep down that you probably did really well for them. That's why they're coming back, but they don't want to change the offer. So sometimes I'll ask, sometimes I'm already content with, what I'm being paid for it. But there are definitely some sponsors who are just lovely and they'll come back and like double it or even like triple it sometimes without even asking. So
because the videos do well.
Yeah, the videos do well, and a lot of people, there's like a really big click-through rate and a big conversion rate.
That's what I was going to ask. So like, what does well mean to the sponsor specifically?
I've only asked a couple times for actual data on like the conversion rate. So I think, I don't really know. So like for the fitness app, I was one of the best performers in terms of like the conversion rate. So people actually paying for the service. So I think to them, like, I really don't know. I can't really answer that question, but as long as they're making a good amount of money over what they paid me, I think that's a success to them.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know what they use to measure it. But they definitely look at both clicks and conversion, because a lot of people will click and get the free version, but obviously those people are always like potential customers. So I think that's something they consider as well, is just like the overall influence and reach of the promotion.
Yeah. And do you use affiliate codes as well?
I don't usually, just because like I don't really have anything to link, I feel like. But yeah, I'm not a big affiliate code person. I'm also in Canada, so a lot of things that I buy are not from American retailers.
Mm-hmm.
So I can try to put like for example, the American Amazon link in. But then it only works. I have a big Canadian audience because I'm Canadian, and it only works for like half the audience.
Yeah.
So,
So then
I
it
mean, it's
becomes
just kind
super
of,
complicated. You have to put
yeah,
both
it's
links for everything.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. So mainly, it's like if you're getting any income beyond AdSense, it's probably from sponsors.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay, so I think we're at. Oh, I know the other thing I want to ask you. So being someone that vlogs as a vlogger, what is your? Because people always ask these questions too. What is your vlogging camera?
My vlogging camera, it's the Canon M50.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the Canon M50. It's like a hybrid between like a DSLR and like a point and shoot camera.
You like it?
I like it a lot. It's a really good camera. But honestly, more recently, I've been vlogging with my phone.
Mm.
Because it's just always there. I'm someone who still, I mean, I've been doing YouTube for like a long time now, but I still get anxious and nervous bringing out like a huge camera to like vlog myself with in public. While when I'm on my phone, I feel like someone's probably just like, she's on FaceTime, like who knows. But yeah, honestly, I've been using my phone more often than my vlog camera now. But if I sit down for a video, I always use like the professional camera.
Got it. And then when you're using your phone, do you just where do you put the file? Do you just kind of like do you have like Dropbox or what's your process there?
Yeah, I just airdrop everything
You airdrop it
from my phone to my computer. Yeah, it's such a simple process. I really can't beat it, which is why I continue to do it that way. And like I said, I'm someone who kind of holds myself to a standard where I get really anxious if I think people aren't going to be happy, like my schedule, for example, my upload schedule. And that also extends to like my content quality. But no one has ever commented that the quality is worse on my iPhone vlog than my other vlogs. So it's just, again, me.
Yeah. Easy, it works, you know?
Yeah.
And like you said, being that you have a busy schedule, you kind of have to go with what's easier and most efficient. Do you do all your own editing and all that? Okay.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy editing. I've been asked a couple of times if I plan on getting an editor. But like I previously stated, it's a really fun creative outlet for me. So I like kind of like doing my own editing most of the time. Sometimes it's a pain if I have like 300 vlog clips, but for the most of the time it's fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I find that with a lot of people that I interview, either people like love the editing and they're like, no, it's like part of the process for me. Like I really enjoy it, or other people are like, ugh, it's like the first thing I want to let go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends. I think it really depends on the person. And some people love it and some people hate it. So it's just, you know, you got to go with what you really enjoy doing. So.
Exactly.
And so, okay, so we're nearing the second part of the interview, and this is what I call the Power Hour segment. So basically it's like the same questions that I ask everybody that comes on the show. And then you just kind of answer with like first thing that comes to mind. So first question is, what would you say are the defining moments of your YouTube career?
The defining moment?
Moments.
I would definitely say probably the loose skin video, because that's when I really decided to take it seriously. Yeah, that was definitely the moment where I saw YouTube as something I can do for fun, but also potentially as a revenue stream, because before it was demonetized, I made a good amount of money on that video. So that was definitely a huge defining moment.
Yeah. What is the hardest part for you about being a YouTube influencer?
I would definitely say the hardest part is just always wanting to kind of be a positive influence. I've gotten a lot better at being more candid and transparent about hard things I'm going through, but definitely at the beginning, I wanted to show people that, you know, if you achieve your goals, everything will be better, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it didn't work out like that. So I would definitely say being vulnerable enough to share negative things I'm going through.
Yeah. Is that something like you're still working on now?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I'm pretty open about it now, but there are days where, you know, body image isn't the greatest, food isn't the greatest. And when you're someone who's kind of seen yourself at both ends of the spectrum in terms of like a healthier weight now versus morbidly obese, it's super easy to fall into a negative mindset of, oh, I didn't exercise today. Does that reflect poorly on me? Is this what my future is going to be? Am I going to lose control? Stuff like that. So I've definitely gotten better at talking about it. And honestly, even talking about it, it has made it a lot easier for me to deal with. And it's helped me grow, and it's actually like helped me a lot in overcoming a lot of things. And I know it's helped people as well.
Yeah, and I imagine that people probably really appreciate that, but I can see how it would be hard, especially like now being like a public. I mean, you were before because you had your Instagram, but like, you know, you definitely are a public persona, and also like a role model. I imagine for a lot of people probably look up to you and see what you're doing is like, oh wow, and inspiring and all
Yeah.
that. To kind of, I don't want to say like chip away at that image, but to like maybe like show something that's like, okay, I'm not that perfect person that maybe you think I am, or like I have bad days. It's like you're like, am I like ruining my persona that I created?
Exactly.
So yeah, and what has been like your hardest video that you've done so far in regards to being vulnerable?
I would say probably I did a video early last year in 2018 where I kind of opened up about like the realities and like my realities of massive weight loss and how it wasn't always super healthy and how it led to a lot of disordered thinking and disordered habits. And that was really hard for me to talk about at first, because up until then, people kind of, I guess, idolized my transformation and thought it was like the perfect transformation because it was so fast. It was like I went from one extreme to this, and it was hard for me to open up about it and kind of be honest and say like, yes, I do take blame for kind of portraying myself as like the perfect image of losing weight. But it wasn't like that. And just opening up about that, and then from there being more comfortable with talking about, you know, like binge eating and body dysmorphia and everything I was dealing with. It was hard to open up, but it was like, I'm so happy I did it, because the comments on that video of people saying they feel the same way, or they've fallen into disordered eating habits, or whatever issue they were dealing with. I think it was just a space that needed to be filled on YouTube of people kind of transparently talking about the downsides of losing weight so quickly.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, how was the response? But it sounds like it was.
It was great. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did that give you kind of more inspiration to continue on that path of vulnerability?
Yes, and honestly, I think that is a reason why I've been so successful on YouTube, and why I have an audience that's so invested in me and my journey. Is I've just always tried since that moment to be as completely honest as possible. Because I kind of realized that not a lot of people are being as honest as they could, me included. Like I hid a lot of stuff, but from that moment I was kind of like, people need to hear the truth about someone who they look up to or someone they watch. And since then I've talked about so many topics that I never even could have imagined talking about publicly. So
if you were to get started today, what would you have done differently?
I kind of going off what I just said, I would definitely portray my I guess my journey in a more honest way. Just because when I first, like I said, when I first started getting started, like, it's hard to get an audience and be completely truthful all the time, just because, I mean, it's hard to be vulnerable like that.
Yeah.
I would definitely just be honest from the beginning, and kind of not lead people to believe that everything about my life and weight loss was perfect.
I think that's hard though, because it's like you're brand new to YouTube. Granted, you have your audience on Instagram, but you're brand new and you're like new to kind of sharing all these things. Like, in a lot of ways, like, you want to kind of share the best, the best of it.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Exactly. But I just kind of realized that I was consuming a lot of content from other people who, and like, this is no one's fault, because everyone obviously wants to post the best of themselves. But I was noticing, since I was consuming so much of that content where no one was really vulnerable, it was really negatively affecting me because I had no one to compare myself to and say it looked like everyone was like having a perfect life, like everyone who had lost weight, because I'm very involved in that community.
Okay.
It looked like everyone was like killing it, like not having a problem in the world, while I was, feeling super I was just super dysmorphic about my body. I was struggling a lot with my relationship with food. So I just wanted to be that example for people. And luckily, I've had so many, like thousands of emails. That's something I do. I try to respond to all emails, which is a bit crazy, but just thousands and thousands of people reach out saying how happy they are that someone has talked about something that they were always too afraid to admit.
That's great. That's really great. And it's like a progression of like learning this stuff. You don't know until, like, a lot of times clarity comes from action, and it's like you just don't know until you do it.
Exactly.
What if you could change one thing about YouTube, what would it be?
Definitely the fact that the success of your video has to do with the thumbnail and the title. I don't think there's really a way around it. But I really do wish there was a way for quality content to get out just based on the fact that it's quality, not like the thumbnail or the title, because I have a lot of videos that, I thought were going to do really well because I worked so hard on them and I thought it was so, the information was valuable. And then it's not like they did bad, but they didn't do exponentially well. And I had such an unconventional introduction to YouTube where I thought it was going to be easy because I just had videos like doing well all the time.
That's crazy.
That when I started doing it consecutively and like consistently, it was kind of a hard pill to swallow that like not all my videos are going to get 1 million views,
So, that's just like not reality.
It's not. So it's definitely been a learning process, but I definitely wish like quality content of mine could reach a larger audience.
Yeah, definitely. What has been the biggest mistake you've made on your YouTube channel?
I would say my biggest mistake is I like sharing what I'm doing at all times. So a lot of the time I'll share stuff that I'm going to do before actually fulfilling it. Which could be, it can be not great when people are trying to lose weight, because I might introduce like, I'm going to do this diet, and then automatically, just given my influence in that weight loss space, people will do it too. And then like 2 weeks later, I realize it's dumb.
Change your mind.
So, but then like people are already doing it. So I would definitely, I wish I would think more or try something before promoting. Like some type of like exercise or something.
Yeah, the thing is, like, as like a leader in the space, as an influencer in the space, you do, in a way, influence people's decisions and as it relates to that. And it's like, you're probably learning like, what I say, actually, people do take action on that.
Exactly. I would say like the first, like you hit like 10,000, 20,000. It's like, wow, so many people. But the more it grows, you can't really conceptualize how big your influence is. Especially in such a influential, space as weight loss. Like, it took me actually doing things and people starting tagging me like, I'm doing this too, for me to realize like, oh, people actually do what I do.
And
that was kind of a hard lesson, because I was like, I need to be more responsible in what I do. And again, that was just like at a time where like everything in my life was super disordered, so I was just all over the place. Luckily now I have the ability to think through what I talk about and what I promote in terms of eating and everything. But at the beginning, it was a mess. My channel at the beginning was just a mess.
I mean, obviously though, you were doing something right, because you're doing so well and you're growing. And it is interesting because it's like you said, you had such an unconventional start to your channel. Like, not everybody puts a video, their first video, they get 1 million plus views, right? It's like you're making all the mistakes and you're learning in front of everybody, whereas a lot of people do it before they get really that big.
Exactly. Some people are on YouTube for years before they have videos start blowing up. And I was very lucky in the sense that my first video did, but it just threw me into a whole new platform that I had no idea. I was so used to Instagram. It was new for sure.
What is the best decision you've made about your channel?
I would definitely say being more open, kind of allowing myself to move from a place where I wanted to portray myself and like my journey or whatever as perfect and the ideal, image of what it should be, to just being honest and saying, this is the reality of it. Because I think, like my bond with my audience got so much stronger after that. I was suddenly no longer like someone who people like like it was no longer seen as unreachable.
Like
People could
idolize,
start.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You're
Like
more
people,
relatable.
exactly. People could see themselves in my situation, and like they could see themselves in me or me in them. And I think that was a very beneficial thing for a lot of people, because a lot of the time we watch people online and it's like we don't think we can achieve what they have. But by just being honest and like saying everything I have is super achievable, I think that really helped a lot of people.
Yeah. And what is the best opportunity you've received as a result of your YouTube channel?
I would say, I mean, aside from like sponsorships and stuff, obviously I think those are great opportunities because it's a revenue stream. But I would say the best opportunity I had is just to meet people who, who follow me, who support me, but also meet people who for so long I followed and I looked up to as inspiration. Like now they're all my friends. So there are people I get to meet all the time. There are people I get to connect with, and it's like a bond that I don't share with a lot of other people because they've gone through the same things as me.
Yeah.
So I would say that's definitely the best opportunity I've had.
Yeah, that's great. And last question, what is your YouTube superpower? Meaning, what is it about yourself that comes very naturally that has contributed to your success on YouTube?
I think I'm very good at being candid. Like, and I think a lot of people like that. And I, like, I'm not afraid to just be myself, if that makes sense. Like, I'm someone who I'm very honest. Like, I swear a lot. It's something that a lot of people relate to, and a lot of people say, I don't often see this in a YouTuber, because like, a lot of people are scared to do certain things because of demonetization. But I'm just very candid and I'm very honest, and I think that has really separated me from a lot of other people.
Yeah, I mean, even though you said at that point you were still kind of like struggling with this idea of being like super vulnerable or whatever, like you doing that video of you sharing your loose skin, and like I showed kind of the clip of it earlier, but like you just kind of really showing it, like you juggling it around, like squeezing it, showing it. I mean, I watched, I was like, oh wow, she was just like that was going through my head of like, I'd love to talk to her about like her, like the vulnerability of that. And I asked you that question because I can imagine, especially at the time, you didn't know it was going to be seen by 5 million plus people either.
Exactly.
But I was like, it's like, yeah, for you, it's probably like, yeah, I'm going to share it. I want to help people. I'm not afraid to kind of show like every part of me and just go for it.
Exactly. I've always kind of been like the worst thing that could happen from me uploading something like that is people are mean, like in comments, which obviously is a reality of YouTube. But it's always been a motivating factor for me to think of like, but who could it help? Like before I upload that video, I knew it would be a more positive impact. And however many hate comments I got, which was a lot because it went viral. So, I mean, there are a lot of trolls, but just seeing how many people it actually helped, because a lot of people have bodies like I did. So whether it be after weight loss, pregnancy, whatever, I've always just thought that way. Like I might get a little bit of hate, but it could help. So
I love what you said. Like you were really focusing on who could I help? And I think that's a really powerful lesson. I think it's something that, I always tell people, because I work with people, I help them with their YouTube channels. I have a course and all that stuff. And one of the big things that I always say is like, your why must be bigger than your fears and your insecurities. And I really see that in you, especially in that, what you just said. It's like, who can I help? And that's like laser beam your focus on that. And then everything else is, who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Jordan, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you, chatting with you, having you on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with everybody here. So, for people that don't know you, but they are curious and want to check you out, where can they find you?
Yes, so my main platforms are on Instagram, which is just at Jordan Shrinks, and then my YouTube is Jordan Shrinks as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jordan.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.